Moving to an entirely new state won't be so stressful if you know that the place that you're moving to is right for you. In this video, I'm gonna help you choose where in Tennessee that you should live. What's up, y'all? I'm Rachel Hadidsazrealtor with Epique Realty right here in Middle Tennessee. Nearly daily, I get emails, comments on my YouTube videos, DMs on social media from people just like you that want me to tell them where they should live in Tennessee. In fact, maybe I'm even sending you this video as a result of you reaching out to me and asking this question. Again, thank you so much for reaching out to me after watching my videos. It really means a lot. On the other hand, it's just not appropriate for me or anyone else to tell you where to live. However, I have come up with a series of questions that I tell my clients to ask themselves so that they can help come to this decision on their own. The first question that I want you to think about is, where will I work? Of course, if you're retired or you get to work remotely, you can skip ahead. The vast majority of us, we have to work to pay our mortgage. So you will want to move at least close to where your job is. Find the job or find the cities in which the jobs in your career are located. And everyone's max desirable commute in the morning is a little bit different. Some people like 15 minutes, some people are okay with 30 minutes, some people can go up to an hour or more. Everybody's different. So based on the job that you're gonna be working at and your desired commute time frame, you can define a radius around which your job is located and look at all those different communities around the job. Okay, so what if you're working, but you're working remotely? While theoretically you could work anywhere, you're gonna wanna find some place that has some reliable internet. So bear in mind that some of the more rural areas in Tennessee don't have the best capability of internet. Maybe they don't yet have access to broadband, so you might need to stay closer to a large or mid-sized cities just to have the speed of internet that your job requires. And again, this is part of your buyer's due diligence. However, you can check addresses on the fcc.gov website to find out what internet is available at that different address, and then call the companies directly to verify and check the speed. All right, so let's just say you're not working anymore, you're retired, you want to come to Tennessee to live that good life. Well, similarly to someone that's working remotely, that does open up your options a lot more. But that also means that you have a lot of other questions to ask yourself to determine where you should live in Tennessee. So let's get on with it. All right, so another question to ask yourself is, do I need to be close to a major airport, and what's my max driving distance to that airport? Maybe you want to get out of town and see the grandkids on a regular basis. This can help narrow your decision because you are going to want to stay close to one of our major cities. Yes, we do have small municipal airports, but for those larger commercial flights, you will need to be close to like Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, etc. Atlanta is probably our closest international airport. And so if that's something that you do on a regular basis, you might want to consider being closer to Tennessee's southern border. Okay, so let's think about it. Some things that you might need to live close to: a good job, a major airport. What about hospitals or a certain type of school? Is there a specialist that you need to see anything for? In this regard, you could begin your search with the different hospitals in Tennessee that provide that treatment that you need. Once you pinpoint a hospital or a specialist that you like, then you can start to look for communities in and around that area that is within a desired commute. For example, I have a client that I'm working with right now. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she looked up hospitals all across the country that offer a certain type of treatment that she might one day need again. And she picked out a hospital in Nashville that brought her to living in the Murfreesboro area so that she can be 30 to 45 minutes out from that hospital should she need it again. Likewise, maybe you're a parent of a child with special needs. In that regard, you might start with therapy centers and school systems. And if there's anything else you can think of that you might need to live close to, let me know down in the comments. Okay, so maybe you're not a city girl like me. Maybe you want to look for more unrestricted living, somewhere where you can hunt, farm, get a little bit of land. Well, it's true that farmland can be found in Tennessee in just about any county. However, if the price of land is a concern, you're going to want to look further out from the conveniences of the cities. Also, please note that no land is ever entirely unrestricted. Just because your neighborhood is not governed by a homeowners association doesn't mean that you won't still be subject to things like county codes, as well as any covenants and restrictions on your neighborhood. Again, for fewer restrictions, you want to look further from the large cities and continue to do your due diligence, checking with the county on their restrictions as well. As your realtor, I can request the covenants and restrictions for your neighborhood. That's something that we'll do once you start looking at houses you've already chosen the community that you want. Another question, are you looking for a waterfront property? Well, again, you do have some options here, whether it be a lake or a river or some other body of water. Tennessee does have some nice waterfront properties. I think that combined with asking the questions that I've already listed in this video, you could just open up a map and look for that lake or that river that you might want to be close to. And then you can find communities that are close to the water. For example, if you are looking for lakefront living within 30 minutes of Nashville, we do have a few lakes in the area that you can choose from. Hendersonville, Tennessee happens to be one of my personal favorites. Okay, so are you the type of person that likes some city conveniences without the hustle and bustle of a larger city like Nashville or Chattanooga? Well, you might consider a mid-sized city that has a population between 50 to 100,000 people. You can still get a good sense of community without having to travel longer distances for things like a hospital or a grocery store or a department store. Now, if you really want to avoid being around people, then you're gonna want to look for the more rural and less populated counties in Tennessee. We do have some counties with fewer than, for example, 20,000 people. It's really easy. You can just Google or look up in Wikipedia the population of any Tennessee county. In the more rural, less populated counties, you'll have all that beautiful scenery that Tennessee has to offer. Of course, you'll still want to check the reliability of the internet on the fcc.gov website if that's something that's important to you. And you may even want to map the distance to the closest hospital and make sure that it meets your needs. All these things are part of your buyer's due diligence in choosing what community is best for you. And lastly, of course, you want a community that aligns with your budget. Is the community going to be affordable for you? While it's true that property values have been steadily increasing in all parts of Tennessee, it is still affordable to live in Tennessee. As far as the cost of properties in different areas, aren't we so lucky in our generation that you don't need me to see how much properties are going for nowadays? I highly recommend looking at property websites, something like homesnap.com, to find out what properties that meet your criteria are going for. Make sure that your expectations are realistic before you get too far deep. And by your criteria, I mean things like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, the square footage, how much acreage do you need for the price that aligns with your budget. Do the homes in the area within the past 6 to 12 months align with what you can afford? And if not, is there something that you're willing to compromise on? Maybe a little bit smaller house, maybe a little bit less acreage, maybe move further out from the cities. Is there anything that's a want but not a need that you could compromise in order to get most of your needs covered? In that regard, that will increase your chances of being successful. For more information on moving to Tennessee or information on living in Tennessee in general, make sure you like this video and subscribe with the bell. That means that you'll be the first one notified when new videos are released. I've got so much more to tell you about life and real estate in Tennessee, so I'll see you at the next video.